negative self-talk. I am so passionate about this. It is so easy to engage in negative self-talk, and I think people do it way more than they think they do. I first noticed it in college when I was in a yoga class, and my teacher was so sweet. Whenever someone performed negative self-talk, she would kind of like call them out on it. And I remember specifically, like, I like forgot something that day, and I was like, oh, I'm so dumb. I forgot my mat, or like something stupid like that. And she was like, you are not dumb. And just like that interaction, I forgot what she said like right after that, but just that interaction, I was like, wow, she's actually so right. And people do that all the time. Like, I watch people do like the simplest thing, and they'll be like, oh, I'm so stupid. Like, I forgot my pen at home. I'm an idiot. Like, no, you're not. You're not an idiot. You just forgot your pen. Like, these little things, or like they drop a piece of paper. Like, I'm so clumsy and dumb. Like, no, you're not. Like, you just dropped a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine, you know? Ever since then, I tried to stop doing that because of that yoga teacher. And I did. I feel like I almost never do that. Like, I obviously like slip up and I say things sometimes like, oh, I'm so stupid, or like, you know, I don't deserve that. I don't know. But I really have tried to stop doing that. And I think a lot of my friends in one of my like really close friend groups have also stopped doing it. And then I will hang out with other people, and it's almost like jarring how often some people say negative comments about themselves. And it's like kind of sad. So I did some research and I wrote down examples of the different kinds of negative self-talk. A casual example would be kind of what I just said, like when you just forgot something, or you dropped something, or you made this very, very simple human mistake that can be solved in not kidding 2.5 seconds. Like, reach down and pick it up, you know? Those are like casual examples. The second example would be like the way that people joke. I've heard people say, oh, I'm a piece of shit, or like, I'll be single forever.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that phrase. Like, when people are like, I'm a piece of shit. Like, I kind of hate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? First of all, it's not funny.
Right.
Like, it's also not true. It's just like irrelevant. Like, what do you want from me? Fake pity? Do you want real pity? Like, I don't know.
How do I respond to that?
Exactly. Like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I'm like, okay. And
like, you kind of are for putting you in this situation.
Yeah. No, really. And then it's like, if you actually think you're a piece of shit, why are you doing these things? Like, no, you don't think that because you're a good person. I know you.
Yeah.
And I get it that it comes out sometimes. Like, I'm not talking about like if someone says this one time, I'm not gonna be like, well, you're like, yeah, you are because you do this. No, like if it's your whole sense of humor to just like degrade yourself, I think that's problematic. I really think that what you tell your brain becomes reality. Like, our whole reality is what we believe to be true. So if you keep saying these things to yourself, you will start to believe them.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that is true. And we've also done a deep dive on this on other episodes about how when people say like, I'll be single forever, like the more that you say that, the more that it becomes true in a way. Because if you're telling everyone around you like, yeah, I'll be single forever, I can never match with a guy, and then your friend has like the best guy friend, like, are they really going to think of you? Because I might be like, oh, well, that person's kind of like negative about dating and they never give people a chance. And like, I don't know. So you're really just hurting yourself when you like joke like that. And then the third one would be like a more serious example when you're saying these things in your head and you're like, why would I even try? I'll obviously fail, or I'll never be able to do that. Like, I shouldn't even do the opportunity, take the risk, like things like that. Okay, so here's where my research came in to play. I pulled from a few different articles that had their own sources, so I can link them in the description.
Damn. MLA?
APA? Yeah, I don't even know. I did see like the sources at the bottom, and they looked either MLA or APA. I don't remember the difference. And I was like, wow, this is legit. So I'll link this article, and everyone can check out those sources if you care.
Women in STEM.
Women in STEM. Thank you. Okay, so the effects could include higher risk of mental health problems and increased stress. And those were two of the effects that I just really wanted to touch on. Obviously, there could be more dangerous or negative effects, but the fact that negative self-talk, even in like a joking form, could increase the stress in your life and give you a higher risk of mental health problems, that should be reason enough to not make those like jokes or comments. But yet people do it all the time. And it's like most people's form of humor is self-deprecation. Self-deprecating humor is so common. I just don't like it. I do think there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
But if your only joke is, I'm a piece of shit, I'm ugly, it's like, well, that's not even funny. So if you can make a funny joke and actually make me laugh, like these dumbass sarcastic comments are just not it.
I think it's just tough though, because like our society almost forces people to be negative towards themselves. You know, like don't take compliments, don't give yourself compliments. Like if someone says something nice about you, tell them them, they're wrong.
You're so right.
People might not even know that they're like doing this stuff to themselves because we're just so impressionable. And like, this is how everyone talks, it feels like.
I know.
You know, it's just so common.
It's so common. And okay, to the point about that's how everyone talks and people don't even notice it. No, I totally agree. And if that's like your friend group's sense of humor, like you are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. So yeah, like if your friends are doing these things and saying these comments and jokes, you're probably going to pick up on it too, even if you don't notice it. It's like catchphrases that like if you hear your best friend say it every single day, you're going to start saying it. That's exactly why like I feel like I went so long. I don't even remember when I like, maybe it was because like pre-pandemic was when I was in college and then the pandemic happened. I spent so much time away from people and then getting back into the real world for the past like 2 years or 3 years is really when I'm trying to like implement this.
Yeah.
So now it's just like way more apparent to me. I don't know, but I just know for a fact that like there was a day where I noticed it and I was like, oh my God, all these people do is joke about how terrible they are and like all these negative comments. And like, I'm not engaging. Like when everyone's sitting in a circle and they're like, well, I'm a piece of shit. I'm ugly. I'm stupid. I'm single forever. I'm like, I'm keeping my fucking mouth closed because I'm not engaging in this. I don't think I'm a piece of shit. I don't think I'm ugly. I don't think I'm stupid. I'm not going to sit around and say I'm going to be single forever. It's just annoying. It's like that scene in Mean Girls when they're like, oh, my nail beds are disgusting. I need to lose 5 pounds. And then they look at Katie and they're like,
yeah.
What about you?
Yep.
They're waiting for her to say something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to sit around and like talk about all my worst qualities, you know? Like I can think about them and work on them in my own time. But sitting around and like making these jokes like is not going to solve the problem. I don't know.
I just feel like even if you say this stuff and you're like, oh, I know it's a joke, like I can separate it out, like what my thoughts about myself versus like jokes about myself, and I know what's true and I know what's not, and like right now I'm just being lighthearted, joking, whatever. Our brains are just so malleable. Like the more you say something to yourself, it does become truth over time, even if you think you're super like hyper aware of, you know, what you think of yourself and who you are as a person. It can change over time, like without you even realizing. Brains are just very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, this kind of stuff, like so much happens without your awareness when you do think that you're totally in the know about yourself. You're actually not.
No, I totally agree. Like I do think so much of our reality and like the way we think, the way we live our lives is formed in our subconscious. And yeah, your subconscious doesn't get to decide between a joke and something that's serious. I feel like that's why manifestation works. Like, yeah, obviously that's like more woo-woo and like not everyone believes in manifestation, but we have also talked about how manifestation, it is woo-woo, but there are literal elements to it. Like if you walk around saying the things that you want, people are going to hear you. They're going to think of you when those opportunities present themselves. So it does become reality in many ways. And then also your subconscious, like how they say manifestation works is your subconscious, like Trisha was saying, doesn't understand the difference between something that is true and something that is a lie. So if I sit around all day and I say, I'm so happy, I live a great life, my subconscious is going to use confirmation bias to make those things true in my conscious mind and my conscious like world. What?
Hi. Oh my God.
You guys are being greeted by an angel.
What a nice surprise.
I literally manifested this. I was like, my life is great. My life is full of joy. And now he's here. Our dog has joined us. Our dog, mine and Trisha's joint dog.
Please
Blue.
look at him.
You guys watch our podcast on YouTube. He's so cute.
Oh
look
my
at him sitting there.
God, I'm obsessed with you.
He's cute.
I love you. Oh, yeah.
Blue, don't chew it. No.
Don't do that.
He already chewed a cord on a light and I had to tape it with duct tape.
Oh, really? Oh, I see that.
Do you want to sit here while we record? Oh my God, he's doing that scratchy leg thing.
I found the good spot. You're so cute.
Should we leave him here?
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Blue.
Bye.
Okay, Blue's gone now.
Sad.
That was so joyous, though. Yeah, like I do think that, well, everyone knows our brains work on confirmation bias. You can see examples of that in every piece of media, every sentence someone says, like literally everything. I mean, that works on other things too, in my opinion. Okay, I kind of lost my train of thought ever since Blue visited us. So we were talking about...
I do have something to say about confirmation bias.
Oh, yes.
So there's something else called, I learned about this in school like years ago. It's called cognitive dissonance.
Oh.
Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
So it's like when something happens in like your real world and it's not like what you were expecting or like what your brain has like, you know, preconceived will happen, I guess. Your brain almost comes up with like a scenario to correct what happened so that it like makes sense within your reality. So
wow, okay.
I just feel like if you have more positive self-talk about yourself, like when someone or if someone says something bad or negative about you, your brain, it's almost just like it's so simple. I don't know why I'm even like saying all this like psychology stuff.
No,
but
it's so
like,
interesting.
It's like your brain will correct it to being like, okay, they said that mean thing about me, but it's just because like they're unhappy, or you know what I mean? Like you will make up something to correct that unexpected event that just happened to you.
I think that's so true. I mean, obviously it's true because it's psychology, but there are so many examples of that. Even in like dating, I feel like this happens all the time. We talk about it all the time. When someone gets ghosted or gets dumped, or after the first date when it went perfectly in your mind, the person never wanted to see you again. People spend so much time, myself included, like wondering what happened. Why did they do this? Like, what's the story I'm going to tell myself? And the reason actually doesn't even matter. Like, I will never know the reason. One, most likely I'll never know the reason. And two, it doesn't matter, because whether the person ghosted me because they're a dickhead and they don't like me, they like me but they found someone better, they like me but something crazy went on in their life, it doesn't matter. The fact is they did it, and that's all that matters, is they did it. But it's so hard to stop yourself from like spiraling and like trying to figure out the reason why and like all the rationale for it to match the story in your brain.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why people make excuses for friends, partners, like so many people in life, is because they tell themselves the story, they fall in love with the story, and when the people in their life that are characters in their own story don't live up to the story, they need to rewrite the story and figure out how to make everything connect and still flow, but it was never real. It's just the story that you made up in your mind. Yeah, wow, that's actually really interesting. Going back to what you said about how people are like not allowed to be confident.
Yeah.
I just saw a video on TikTok of this beautiful girl. She's probably in her early 20s, and she made like a joking video about, well, okay, the video wasn't a joke, but she was saying it kind of like in a lighthearted way, and she was saying that that's just like her humor is just like very dry. Anyway, so the whole first video was about, I got cheated on. Like, literally look at me. Like, I don't have the beauty filter on. These are my real eyes. Like, I have blonde hair. She's skinny. She's literally beautiful. She's like, I was cheated on. So it has nothing to do with the person who got cheated on. It only has to do with the cheater. Like that kind of idea. The comments were like mixed reviews. Like some people were like facts, and some people were like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, this is a weird take. You're sitting here like, I'm all that and I got cheated on. But somebody was like, and you're really humble. Something like that. She responded in this video where she was so well spoken, and she basically went on a rant about how, one, that's just my sense of humor, and if you don't get it, you're just not going to get it. But two, why do I think I'm pretty? Like, everyone's commenting on my video. Why do you think you're so pretty? Where did all this confidence come from? She went on this whole tangent. I almost just want to like, maybe I'll try to find it and like link it in the comments, because she spoke way better than I can. But she was like, oh, I think I'm pretty because when I was 5 years old walking around with my mom, old men would stop us on the street and say, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She's going to be a stunner when she gets older. Because when I was on the bus when I was 9, a boy stopped me like and wouldn't let me off until like I called him daddy. Like, and that was fine. And then in high school, like all these boys called me pretty and they did this to me. And like her whole life she was sexualized because men called her pretty. And she said, the only time that I'm not called pretty is when I call myself pretty. And I was like, holy
damn
shit. The top comment on that was like, this is slam poetry, or like spoken word poetry.
Yes.
Like, and she said, because in every single time when a man said it, it was okay. And then when I'm saying it, it's the only time it's not okay.
Wait, that is so obvious, but also so like groundbreaking to me right now.
I agree.
Because like I have definitely had that line, like that train of thought, but never have been able to like articulate that or really explain, even in my own brain, to myself, like what exactly I'm thinking and what's wrong here. But that's what it is.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I just like loved that she came with examples, because she wasn't just like, you know, we've all heard somebody say, oh yeah, when other people say you're pretty, it's fine. But when I say I'm pretty, it's conceited. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
She came
like
with,
nothing new.
Yeah. She came with receipts. And she was like, here's all the times men got away with doing this. And I can't get away with just giving myself a compliment. But then if I said I was ugly, everyone would come to my defense. No, you're not. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
Only until you say it. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that like kind of stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, damn, I hope like everyone on earth sees this.
Yeah.
Even like grown women, like I was actually thinking about how sometimes like older people hate on younger people, and it's clearly just because they're jealous. And I've had like thoughts like that I genuinely try to stop. If I see someone younger than me who like is more successful or does something better than me, I'll like feel myself trying to justify it and be like, oh well, it's because of X, Y, and Z, and like she sucks because of this, and I'm like, wait, stop. You're doing that because you're jealous of her. And it's okay to be jealous of someone. You don't have to tear them down just because you want what they have, you know?
Right.
So, okay. I think that was my final thought on that.
I love it.
That was so interesting. But yeah, all that from negative self-talk. So no, positive self-talk. Like compliment yourself. Like
yeah, do your best.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to say affirmations out loud, but like try and catch yourself when you have these like bad thoughts about yourself.
Yeah.
I'm like chronically late, which is something I hate about myself. Hate about myself. And when I'm late, in my head, I'm like, people think you're lazy because you didn't leave on time. You like procrastinated. People think you're dumb. You can't figure out how to get somewhere like on time. Like all my stuff is about driving. Yeah. No, that is like something that I need to like be way better about. I feel like in a lot of other aspects in my life, I have been really good with like catching myself with negative self-talk. But then it's like certain things, they just like, it just comes so naturally. You don't even realize it, like I keep saying. So then it is really hard to like catch yourself and stop it.
But I kind of think there's a difference between holding yourself accountable and negative self-talk, because I have actually said like everything that not everything I just said, but just the fact that I don't like negative self-talk even in jokes. I have said that to people, and specifically I'm thinking of one of my friends who was like, no, I think I need negative self-talk. Like I think I work harder when I insult myself. And I'm like, okay, I get that too. Like I get that might work for some people, but that's almost in a way, especially knowing my friend that said it, she doesn't sit around saying I'm a piece of shit, I'm stupid, like but she works really hard. So I'm guessing maybe she says stuff like that during the workday. Maybe she's like, all right, come on, you like you can do better than this. Like, and even the stuff like being chronically late, I'm also like that, and I'm really, really trying to be better. And I think I have gotten better recently. But instead of thinking like people are gonna think I'm stupid, I can't like be an adult, like all of that stuff, like there is a version of that you can say to yourself to not insult yourself, but instead hold yourself accountable and try to not be like that. So instead of being like, oh, people are gonna think I'm so stupid, and I'm maybe be like, no, it is I'm not trying to say that you're rude, but I'm thinking about myself when I have been late to things.
No, I agree, it is rude.
Like or it can be.
Yeah.
And also like I have also gotten embarrassed about that. Like it's embarrassing sometimes to be late to something. So maybe be like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that holds everyone up. Like, and I was when I did that one time I took that action, you know, like I don't have to tell myself that's who I am, but that's a decision that I made that I don't want to make anymore, because it is embarrassing. It is rude. It is selfish at times. And so instead of sitting there being like, I'm stupid, I'm rude. No, I was rude and that was a mistake. And I want to not be rude in the future. So I'm going to try to not do it again. I don't know.
I'm like capable of being better.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of being like, I'm stupid. No, I'm capable of being on time. I'm capable of making better decisions, like that kind of thing. I also think that even in manifestation and just the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we talk out loud, there's a way to say things to the positive or the negative in almost every sentence. And it is as simple as it's half full, it's half empty.
Right.
Another example in manifestation, I've heard that you never want to say the negative. So you never want to say, I really hope there's not traffic on my way, because all your brain hears is traffic on my way. It doesn't hear like the not traffic or no traffic, zero traffic. So instead you can say, I hope I have a really easy ride.
Right.
I hope I have a joyous ride. I hope I arrive safely. Like instead of thinking, I hope I don't get in an accident, because then you're like, accident, you can think, I hope I get there safely. I pray I get there safely. So just thinking that way instead of thinking and saying the negative side of it, like how do I say this in a positive way?
Right. Obviously it will take work.
Oh, it takes so much work.
Yeah.
And everyone does it sometimes. Like I do this, everything I'm saying right now, like I probably have done it all like in the past month.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were saying earlier, because it's like how our society functions, like you literally have to rewire your brain, because you have probably been this way since your childhood.
Yeah, that's so true. It does take hard work.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, wait, I'm going back to negative self-talk. Our conversation went in a different direction, but I did write down a few tips.
Oh, I love it.
So one of them was take it seriously. So when you say things that are negative about yourself, take a minute and think about it and make a conscious effort to not do it. And this sounds so simple, but too many people forget it, including myself. Think before you speak.
Mm-hmm.
If we just calm down and relax.
Everybody calm down.
I always think of Carly Shay being like, never tell a girl calm down. But seriously, like if we just relax and like take a breath before we speak, think about what you want to say and think in your brain, is the next thing that I want to say out loud, I'm a piece of shit. Because it's not for me. It's not. So hopefully it won't be for you. If you genuinely, see, that's where we get into the territory of like, if you genuinely think that about yourself, it's a different problem.
Yeah.
That's not the problem I'm trying to solve.
Right.
I'm trying to solve if you do not believe that. If someone asked you right now, are you a piece of shit? And if your genuine reaction is, well, I do all these things in my daily life and it makes me not a piece of shit. I'm not a piece of shit. That's who I'm talking about.
Yes.
If that is you, stop
Keep
saying
listening.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it's not, go find actual help somewhere else.
Yeah. If you genuinely are a piece of shit, we'll make another episode about things that you can do to be a better person, not just think better. Right.
Right.
Another tip was, I think these were from the articles I read, try cognitive restructuring. Really think through what you just said and think like, is this rooted in fact or is this just something I just said? Because odds are it's probably just going to be something you just said. Finding affirmations that work for you, positive affirmations, like finding what is your favorite thing about yourself and just focusing on that. And the last one, don't think less of yourself. Think of yourself less, which I think that's very interesting because a lot of times with like negative self-talk, a more serious example, because remember I gave those examples of like lighthearted, medium tier, and then the more serious example, it's like, oh, everyone hates me. Like everyone is making fun of me. Everyone thinks I'm stupid. Like everyone's probably not even thinking about you.
True.
You probably didn't cross everyone's mind, let alone anyone's mind. So think of yourself less.
Yeah, I like that. Wait, I forgot I was going to say this earlier and I just remembered it again. But this is just like a little story I always think about. So this lady, wherever you are, you like made an impact on me.
Am I gonna cry?
No, it's not like that special, but I don't know, it was cute. When I was doing my clinical rotations for nursing school, I was at CHOP and I was sitting at a desk outside of like a patient's room. This lady walks up to me and she said, do you know anything about what's going on here? Because I think that you had to like put a isolation or like a precaution gown on before entering the room for like infection purposes. And she was just like, oh, do you know anything about like what I need to do to go into this room? And I was like, oh no, sorry, I'm just a nursing student. And she said, you're not just a nursing student. Don't say just. She's like, you are a nursing student and you're important and you probably do have more knowledge of this situation than you give yourself credit for. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So now I always think about that. And I feel like I might have talked about this on the podcast before, but I don't know, the importance of like catching yourself again and like not saying I'm just this. It's like, no, you are whatever. Like you don't say just, because I feel like that can knock you down a notch and it's not necessary.
Yeah.
In like most situations.
I do vaguely remember you telling that story and I love that. And I actually have been trying to implement that in emails. And I've heard other people say this too from like a corporate workplace perspective. Avoiding saying just is so powerful. So when you're emailing someone and you're like, hey, just wanting to follow up or like just making sure you know, like that almost sounds like so casual and that like the thing doesn't matter. Like, no, you're not just following up. You are following up because this person needs to do this task or you need the answer or something. I actually do edit emails like right before I send them and I do try to take out just. And I'm like, if this doesn't sound passive aggressive without just, it's coming out.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I do try to avoid saying just checking in. Like I want to say, hi, I am checking in to make sure that we're on the same page. Something like that.
Yeah. That's cool. It is powerful.
It is.
It's such a small word, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.